some of this has been helpful for those of you out there that have heard of AGL but don't know anything about them, and they're interested in what they sell and what they do. So hopefully you've gotten something out of this. If not, sorry, I'm just a measly little small channel and just having fun over here, and found something that I enjoy, and hopefully you enjoy it too. So if you're an AM all the way up to like an advanced player, that's kind of my wheelhouse of people that can kind of understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to over explain things and make it too complicated. I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can, so that I'm not confusing anybody that's new, and you can get kind of a broad generalization, which is not really the best way to explain what I want to do, but it's all I can think of right now. I just want to, to keep it simple. Disc golf shouldn't be overly complicated with all kinds of numbers, and this is going to flip in this wind and this wind condition, and I'm going to do this and that. Really, the only way you're going to know is to go out and throw them yourself. Now, they only have one mid right now, which is the Magnolia, which is actually right back here. This is the one that they sent me. The first one they sent me was an Amy Lewis team stamp disc, which was very, very understable. Definitely a lot more transparent than this one is, I would say. Definitely more flippy. So I'm assuming that had something to do with the way that they wanted to make the plastic for that particular person. But this run right here, which isn't quite nearly as transparent, this apparently is a first run Magnolia, which I didn't know that until Josh told me, so I thought that was pretty cool. I really appreciate him sending me such a good run, because this, from what I've heard, it was probably one of the best ones. Like the first 2 or 3 runs, first 3 runs were probably the best, I guess. But this one is definitely the more stable that I've thrown. Again, I've only thrown 2, so I really haven't tried the other ones. I want to get my hands on one of the current production runs to be able to give a better judgment on that. But I've talked with one of their players, Andrew Scalf. He's a good dude. I talked to him a lot just to get his thoughts on the runs and the plastics and all that. And this is his favorite run. He loves this first run, and I do too, because it's, if you see, there's tons of throws where I throw backhand. I really don't like throwing backhand a lot unless I have to, especially with mid-ranges. There are a lot of throws where I throw this now that I wouldn't have chose a mid-range on, because just not comfortable with mid-ranges as much. This is like 1 out of 2 mid-ranges that are in my bag. So being that I don't throw a lot of mid-ranges, for this to be something that I really enjoy throwing and that I throw successfully on a lot of holes, I actually hit an ace with this disc. I wasn't recording, but I did record my feelings of that not recording after the fact, because I was really stoked about it, and I was so excited to be able to have this on camera during me filming this review. That's an ace. But it wasn't recording. So it was a little disappointing, but my first ace with a mid. Anything other than a driver. I've always been driver aces. I don't really throw mids that often. It's just, but this one is just, it's made its way into my hands, and I'm glad that I have it, and I'm looking forward to getting it in different plastics. So the AGL Magnolia is definitely pretty much for anybody. Anybody can throw this, I think. I think even a beginner, this is going to be a good disc. It's, depending on which plastic you get. You have the Alpine, which is what this one is. You have Woodland, which I haven't thrown yet. I imagine it's going to definitely be a lot more understable than this, so maybe more beginner friendly. And coming up soon, they're going to have hemp blend versions of this, which I think is also going to be kind of understable, but those would be nice and grippy, which I look forward to, because, I mean, these are pretty grippy on their own, but obviously more grip is always better, especially when it's raining or something like that, which it seems to always be doing when I'm around playing. So definitely get your hands on a Magnolia. It's very awesome. Nice low profile, got a small bead on the bottom. You don't hardly notice it's even there. Just comfortable, controllable, nice and straight. You can turn it over, you can hyzer flip it. You can pretty much get it to do whatever you want. So, and I don't like mid-ranges at all. Anybody that knows me, I don't throw many mid-ranges. Like I said, I got 2 in my bag, so, and this is one of them. About to be more. I need like 4 more of them, so. That one's there. Alright, we'll go on to, let's go to the Sycamore. I throw a lot of either really understable fairway drivers or really overstable fairway drivers. There hasn't been anything in the middle like this. This is definitely in the middle of everything that I throw. It's a 7501, and those numbers are very accurate. It's definitely all of those numbers, absolutely. Definitely can hold a straight line. When it's out of the box, clean, new, it's pretty stable, actually. It's nice, and it comes back. It could handle a forehand, which I threw it a lot on a forehand, especially turning it over on a forehand, getting it to flex out. It'll do that for a while. It's definitely gotten beat into a point where, and I haven't had it for a huge amount of time, but I've hit a lot of trees with it, which you probably will see in some of these little clips. But it still holds up really well. This plastic is very durable. There's no sign of dents or dings, and I've really given this thing a lot of throws, so it's been put through the ringer a lot. But it still maintains that ability, that it still wants to come out at the end. It's got a lot of glide, so it definitely wants to stay in the air. That's probably why it wants to come out at the end, because it's got so much glide that it still wants to come back and pan out at the end. But also, if you put a lot of power behind it, it'll go really, really straight. Depending on your power level, it could be straight to understable, depending on whether you're throwing 500 feet versus 300 to 350 or something. If you're throwing around 300 to 350, it's going to still come out. It's going to have a nice straight for a good bit, but it's going to come out on you. So, and as you beat it in, obviously it's going to be a little more flippy. I'm looking forward to this one being one for nice, easy hyzer flips. I could see it replacing, or at least taking place next to my Leopard 3s, which were one of my favorite fairway drivers, but they tend to be a bit too flippy. So maybe a beat-in version of this. That's Mako messing with my stuff over there. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, so I'm hoping that once this is beat in, it'll replace those Leopard 3s that are way too flippy for me. So, nice and straight. Definitely can be flippy if you put enough behind it. So yeah, that's the Sycamore. It's great for that. It's that in-between disc that I've never really thrown before. I've never had just like a normal, stable fairway driver before. So, that's what this is, and it's definitely staying in the bag. I look forward to different molds of this, different plastic blends to see what different flights I can get out of it. So, but for now, I'm loving this, and gonna beat this up, put in a few more, and then that way I have a variety of different flight paths. Let's go into the Cedar. Now, when I first got the Cedar, it was definitely your typical wide rim high-speed driver. It's a speed 11503 if you want to know the numbers. This isn't the one that I got. The one that I got is in water somewhere. Don't ask why. But it's got a nice little dome over it. Not too domey, very low profile. I love low profile drivers. They're definitely the most comfortable to me. I don't mind when there's a little bit of a dome, but there's not, like this isn't pop toppy at all. It's very, very flat and low profile. Still nice and stable. And I say stable, it's definitely stable to overstable, definitely. It's not nearly in the understable category, but what I like about it is that it can handle a lot of power, go nice and straight, and still have a predictable finish at the end. You can get a little bit of turnover on it, and it'll hold it pretty well. It'll fight back, and it'll flatten out for a good while, and it'll ride straight for a little bit, but then it's definitely going to come out. You got to give it enough air time, obviously, to do that. But it's been really good for like tight wood shots. Like if I need to turn something over to like a low ceiling, I know that this is still going to come back at the end because of that stability that's got at the end of it. So it's pretty predictable to throw. It's basically what you want from any go-to driver, high-speed driver that you can imagine. That's what it is. It's your typical perfect high-speed driver. Does what you needed to do. Definitely going to be my workhorse as far as forehand drives go. This is easily going to be my favorite. Definitely get you one. I got to get a couple more because this one's going to get beat up a little bit and be my flippy one, like all of these are basically. But I love this. Lots of power I can put on it. Almost all I got. And it's not going to flip on me. Not yet. It'll definitely go straight for longer the more power I put on it. But then it's going to always finish to the right. just as I predicted. Now, they also sent me, this is where I got confused, because when I got that Cedar, the first one, and it got lost, and then they sent me this other one, this is right about the time that the Locust was about to come out, so I was a little like, when I got it and looked at it, I was like, this doesn't feel at all, this is different. This is not a Cedar. Is this like a misprint? Are they trying to trick me? Did they send me the new Locust and not tell me? That's what I thought. I was like, this is a different disc. But it's not. There are different runs of the Cedar. There's this very super flat top, like major flat top, very even much more low profile than the other one. But definitely, it's got that wide rim. But when you look at it from the side profile, it kind of looks like a fairway driver. But it's not. It's definitely the Cedar, and that was confirmed, obviously. But this is almost a different disc. So, like, it's like Cedar 3.0, or I don't know what you want to call it. Cedar OS would be a good name for it, maybe. But it's super, super overstable. Like, I can't throw it very far, but it's definitely very handy. There are lots of shots where I want to throw something like this, and it's going to come out really quickly and just land flat on there. It's not going to get a big crazy flare somewhere because it's going to come in at such an extreme angle. For me, at least, if you got a lot of power, this is going to be a driver that you really love, that you could trust in the wind. I can trust this in the wind, no problem. Not worry about any wind at all. Headwind, it's gonna fight through that just fine. It's gonna finish no matter where you throw it. But it's definitely significantly different. I don't know if the camera will focus on that, but they are definitely, look at how flat that one is. So flat, but so awesome. I love when you have like different, like I guess this is how the plastic settles or something like that. Whatever it is, this is definitely useful, and this is useful. This is more useful because I can actually throw this and get more distance out of it. This is a utility version of this. Just awesome. So kind of like how Nuke has their, like the Nuke SS, the Nuke OS. So it's kind of like that. Only it's not renamed. It's just a different, just the way the plastic settled, I guess. Whatever it is. I mean, anybody that knows can comment down below and correct me if you want. I didn't really ask a whole lot of questions about it. I got a little bit of information on it, mostly just how plastic, just like with any disc, you know, certain plastic blends, whether there's more plastic or less plastic. This one's more clear, this one's not. That's probably has something to do with it. Something to that effect, but I'm not going to sit here and dissect it. They're just both awesome, so I really don't care. Just going to keep throwing them. Alright, now we're going to go to the most recent one, the Locust. I have two Locusts. I was very excited when this came out. This came out in the Dismember package for June, and I used to be in the Dismember thing, which was one of my favorite things. I stopped it when I moved out here, and I never started it back, but I loved that thing because you got so many awesome discs and so many cool different stamps. I got a cool Deputy whenever the Deputies first came out with the burst Deputies and all that stuff. Some really cool stuff that came out. So, and one of those recently was the Locust. That's the blue one. I was able to get this off of one of the guys in the club. So I thought that was pretty cool. He hooked me up with that. And I purchased the prototype from the site, which I like that. Nice prototype. Definitely my favorite, one of my favorite colors there. And then you can kind of, it's very hard to see, but the prototypes that were recently released, they're a little more domey than these, but I can't really tell a huge difference in the flight as far as they go. They definitely, at first when I was throwing them, I wasn't throwing them hard enough, and they were surprising me. I was like, wow, that's overstable. That's crazy overstable, because I just wasn't really giving it enough power, is what it was. I was just thinking, you know, just wanted to see what they would do. But you definitely, there's a certain level of power that you have to be able to get this thing to at all get a little bit of turn out of it, to get the proper flight out of it. And you'll see some shots where I just fluffed it and I just didn't commit to it and just was like forgetting what I was throwing, like thinking, oh, I can, because it's got that, something about that, the -1 that's in there. There's a -1 turn in there. It's like a 9.4, -1.3. I'll put the numbers correctly, but it's something around that. I know it's a 9.4 or 9.5. I want to say it's a 9.4 -1.3 or 9.5 -1.3, something to those effects. I'm not gonna, don't quote me, but I'll put that down below or whatever. So that negative thing got in my head, I think, because I was thinking, oh well, maybe it's gonna have a little bit of turn, maybe it's a little more forgiving, and I can get it to do what I want it to do. But it's still overstable. Despite that, that's just the numbers. I would say it's accurate because when I put a lot on it and I come over on it, it definitely wants to carry a little more that way before. I'm talking forehand, right hand, forehand. Don't correct me. But it definitely wants to go over a little bit, and it holds, and then it comes back. Always comes back. No matter how much power I put on it, it definitely has always came out of it. Just it's. Now I'd said, I don't know if I said that on video or not, but I'm a big fan of the Felons. I love Felons. I've always loved Felons. My current Felon right now that's been in my bag for a while. Been in there for a while. This is like this kind of this. If I had to compare, I hate comparing things to things, but when there's something that I love, like a Felon, I have to compare it to that because I love my Felons. Felons out of the box are definitely more overstable than these, but once you beat them up a little bit, that's what these remind me of. And that's where one of the biggest reasons why I love them, because they're like a beat-in Felon, not to where it's flippy. If you got a Felon that's flipping on you like easily, no, I don't mean like that. I mean like it's gotten to that perfect point where you like a Felon. Like the Felon that's in my bag, my pink sparkly one or whatever you want to call it, it's in my bag and it's still there because it's perfect. It's not that crazy overstable that you can't throw, that's you got to put everything in just to get a flight out of it. No, you still have stability at the end and you still get a flight out of it that you can control. That's what these are. These are overstable and they're controllable. And that's why I love them. I did not turn off my AC. Have you been hearing a giant hissing sound the whole damn time? Oh my god, has there been a hissing sound this whole time? The whole time. Alright, so overall with all the AGL plastics, I really enjoy all of them. Magnolia, just a great mid-range, a great overall mid-range, does what you need it to do. It's great workhorse disc. Sycamore, all of these are like right in that category of this that you have to have as a company to be able to be successful. If you don't have a good high-speed driver, a good fairway driver, a good mid-range, good putters, all of that, if you don't have those things, then you're gonna probably struggle a little bit, I would imagine. But they've done just fine. They've made a lot of great discs, especially the putters. All the putters are great, depending on what kind. They have a putter for literally every type of person. They have the understable, they have the overstable, they have the medium stability, they have the crazy overstable bob if you're like Bone and you like to putt with that thing. But they just have a variety of putters for everybody. So with AGL, what you're going to get great product. You're going to get great customer service with them. They're always surprising you with something extra. You never know what you're going to get extra in your box. They're super nice, very responsive when you ask them a question on Facebook or anything like that. They love to share videos and pictures and stuff like that. They're very responsive and they just make you feel like you're a part of something instead of just a customer. So thank you, AGL. I really love these discs. I love your product. I look forward to seeing more from you and watching you grow and maybe helping with that growth also. You know, being a part of it. It's great to be. What's great about AGL is you don't feel like you're this small little person amongst all these other people. It's like a big group, a big family. Definitely check AGL out. Go to their website. Above ground level disc. And why is that not working? It's not the website. It's just screensaver.